After graduating boot camp in June of 1987, I was transferred to the extremely demanding Naval Air Crewman Candidate School in Pensacola, Florida. A 4-week class, NACIS, as it's called, sends the prospective air crewman through myriad physical and physiological stress situations so as to evaluate the candidate for aeronautical adaptability. The attrition rate was very high. Out of a class of about 40 sailors, less than 20 would graduate. Swimming is, of course, very important, given much of naval aviation occurs over the vast expanses of the world's oceans. But with effort and expert instruction, even a poor swimmer such as I could make it through NACIS. For much of the water survival training required numerous evaluations of varying difficulty. Underwater swimming, treading water in full flight gear and boots, among others, as well as swimming a mile in a flight suit, which I barely passed most of my qualifications. Example, whereas most of the students were finishing the mile swim in about 45 minutes to an hour, I barely squeaked in under the time limit and swam the entire mile on my back in 70 minutes. But NACIS was a lot more than just swimming. Running, push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, crunches, flutter kicks, and all in the middle of the summer in Pensacola, where regularly the Navy base raises the 2 black warning flags that rule all physical training must stop because it's too hot. So you can imagine how hot and humid it is there when the weather was just short of that 2 black flag designation. One physical training class is where you go 3 rounds in a boxing ring with any random sailor paired up with you. I had just turned 26, but had been studying martial arts for about a decade by then, and boxing was something I was fairly good at. Well, apparently the Navy instructors evaluating the boxing evolution took notice of my skills, and I'll get to that in a minute. So in essence, I'm a young sailor with excellent academic scores, excellent physical fitness and aviation physiology results, but one problem. I nearly failed many of my water survival evolutions, but I'm a good boxer. The students in NACIS were extremely team-oriented, and all of us living in a big barracks together, of course, came with all sorts of rumors and stories of what was going on around the base. One such rumor going around was about the schoolhouse just down the road from NACIS, which is known as RSS, or Rescue Swimmer School. RSS is a vitally important aspect of naval aviation, as RSS graduates will become rescue swimmers who fly in the back of helicopters and jump into the ocean to save downed pilots or any other sort of rescues at sea. As one can imagine, rescuing pilots in the open ocean swimming impossible 50-foot seas requires sailors with exceptional swimming skills. So I was confident I wouldn't be going to the RSS direction. Well, unbeknownst to us at the time, the instructors within the Rescue Swimmer School had been deviating far afield from all known training directives and were carrying on daily psychological warfare on the students as well as quasi-sadistic training methods. So much so that at the time while I was still in NACIS, the RSS schoolhouse had an ambulance parked outside it every day as they had drowned and then resuscitated students on a regular basis. So often such drownings that the term thrown about the base was that a sailor got, quote, smurfed, as in he turned blue like the cartoon character, the Smurfs. At this point, I need to read a few quotes from various national news agency articles covering the death of a naval air crewman candidate who was killed at Rescue Swimmer School 1 month after I dropped from the same school in February of 1988. First article is entitled, Navy Instructor Convicted in Drowning of Recruit. Washington Post is a source. It's Dateline, Pensacola, Florida, September 23rd, 1988. A Navy rescue swimmer instructor was found guilty today of negligent homicide and conspiracy to commit battery in the drowning of a recruit during the training exercise in a swimming pool last spring. Petty Officer Second Class Michael Combe, 28, of Tempe, Arizona, was convicted by a 5-officer court-martial panel. He became the first person convicted in the March 2nd death of airman recruit Lee Marecki in a training pool in Pensacola Naval Air Station. The court-martial panel found today Combe guilty, the court-martial panel today found Combe guilty of repeatedly forcing Marecki's head underwater, breaking his grip on a pool rope, grabbing him in a rear head hold, and forcing him back into the water during the exercise. During an exercise March 2nd called Sharks and Daisies, in which instructors act like panicking survivors and grab students in head holds to see whether they can escape, Marecki, a 19-year-old from Appleton, Wisconsin, fled from the pool and grabbed an equipment rack. He said he wanted to quit the voluntary training, but instructors threw him back in the pool and dunked him, witnesses testified during the 3-week court-martial. Petty Officer Combe admitted placing Marecki in a head hold and dunking him in to break his grip on the rope dividing the pool about 90 seconds before the recruit collapsed. During part of the exercise, when the instructors were trying to resuscitate Marecki, the students were ordered to face away from the instructor and sing the national anthem. The school has banned the use of force on recruits since the incident. The next quote's from a May 2000 Navy Instructors Training Manual regarding Rescue Swimmer School. All students, instructors will conduct themselves in a highly professional manner. Hazing through the use of improper, degrading rituals, smurfing, and sharks and daisies, or ringing out is strictly prohibited. Okay, last quote's from an article entitled "From Admiral N's Career Marred by Death of Recruit." Sources AP, October 31st, 1988. Quote, Marecki's relatives, the news media, and congressmen had questioned the Navy's refusal to disclose details of the death until more than a month later. 5 rescue swimmer instructors were charged with physically forcing Marecki to continue a life-saving drill after he had panicked, climbed out of the pool, and asked to quit. The rescue school's curriculum has been changed to prohibit instructors from touching students and to have them immediately halt training for students who panic, ask to quit, or show excessive fatigue. Also, the Navy banned the Sharks and Daisies drill that was going on when Marecki died. Instructors acting as panicking, drowning victims would grab students in head holds. Students were supposed to extricate themselves by pulling the instructors underwater. Excuse me. That's the end of the quotes. Now back to my timeline at Rescue Swimmer School. At the time that I first started NACIS, the students that were in RSS were on an all-volunteer basis. But as the summer progressed into fall, Rescue Swimmer School couldn't get any students to volunteer because the rumors of physical as well as psychological abuse were everywhere. All day, every day, you'd see the RSS students being run in formation along the seawall, coated in dirt from doing push-ups and sit-ups anywhere they were told to. And such scenes of extreme physical training made many NACIS students pray they didn't get volunteered for such demanding physical duty. So what did the Navy do? They started demanding the young NACIS students must go to RSS, regardless of ability to swim or chosen career path. In spite of my horrible swimming skills, and when I dared to complain about being forced into the school, I told them I was a horrible swimmer. They said, that doesn't matter, you're a good boxer. No joke. So in short, because I'm a good boxer, I should be great at jumping into huge ocean swells to save people. That's basically what the instructor told me. The barracks across the street from the RSS schoolhouse was where the RSS students lived. And on any given evening, you could hear other sailors complaining about the training. Some were even in tears for fear of being drowned any day. Regardless of desired career path, test scores, etc., I was either going to be a rescue swimmer or would be sent to the fleet immediately with no job, no rank. In essence, it would be a couple of years of chipping paint and doing dishes on some ship, who knows where. So as we AWs used to yell, gotta go, gotta go. I mustered every morning with the new RSS class, spit shine flight boots, crisply ironed dungarees for morning inspection, which always included a student being yelled at for some minor issue. So all 10 students were down in push-up position with their boots in the muddy grass, and endless push-ups began. Push-up position was called lean and rest. Now remember, RSS is a 4-week class. I began RSS in September of '87 and didn't leave there until 5 months later in February of 1988, 1 month before Airman Marecki was killed by these same instructors. I was so motivated to at least try to make it to Hell Week, cranking out endless push-ups, running the intense obstacle course. Yeah, the O course. The AWs were so competitive that most were vomiting after only the 60 seconds it took to run it. Constant running, sit-ups, flutter kicks, etc., and I did more pull-ups than any other student, 27 at age 26. I was in incredible physical shape, but my swimming still sucked. So much so that an RSS student buddy of mine and I would go after hours to the base pool to practice swimming. But as you can imagine, pushing sailors this hard every day in the Florida summer heat had its dangers, such as severe dehydration, heat exhaustion, and possible heat stroke. Severe leg cramps while swimming was a common condition that could be, as in my case, bad enough to roll me back to the next mustering class. So the 4-week class took me 5 months, constantly working out, training, and being rolled back to another class, and every day worrying when I was going to get smurfed.